I gave my old sports car to my stepson on his 16th birthday, forgetting that I had promised it to my real son, and now my real son has cut me off forever. This happened last year, but yesterday I got a grim reminder. Before we start off with this train wreck of a story, here is some background information. I've been a car mechanic since the age of 19, and I've had my own garage/store since I was 28 years old. After my first marriage went to shambles, I remarried a few years later. Just like my current wife, she had a son from her first marriage. My stepson, 16M, was around 4 years old back then, and he sees me as his real father, seeing as his own father walked out on him. My son from my first marriage, 20M, was living with his mom, but I saw him quite often. The shop was on his way back from school, and he dropped by occasionally to say hello or look at the cars I had in the shop. My wife and ex-wife actually got along well. There were never any issues with my son staying over or staying for dinner. He lived with his mom, though. When I turned 17, my dad bought me a black Chevrolet Chevelle SS. Throughout my entire life, I've always taken care of that car. I loved that car to death. 90% of it still consists of its original parts. Being a mechanic, I had no issues doing everything myself. This car was parked in front of my shop most of the time or in my garage at home. My son loved this car as well. He always wanted to go along for rides and knew everything about it. He even had a small model car that looked just like it. So, where did it go wrong, you wonder? My ex-wife remarried as well, 8 years ago, but they moved a few states away because her new husband got a new, and better paid, job offer. After that, I spoke to my son mostly on the telephone and saw him maybe once every 3 to 4 months for a long weekend or half a week. The phone calls became less frequent, and he said he wanted to focus on his schoolwork. Seeing as he was a teen, I couldn't blame him for that. My stepson was already 10 at that time. When my son was 16, he went to university a few states away. I barely had time to speak to or see him. My business was doing badly at the time, and my wife had also gotten really sick with E. coli and had kidney failure. It was a tough time keeping everything together, but somehow we made it through, and my wife is doing far better now. Fast forward to April 2019, my stepson was turning 16 that month. He always got along with my son, so he invited him. My son was busy at the time but promised he would show up a few days later. After all that happened, I hadn't seen him for almost 4 years, so I was glad he was coming over. Now here comes the part where I messed up badly. My stepson was a grade A student. Even when times were tough, he managed to get good grades at school and even got into the university where he wanted to study medicine. My wife and I were so proud of him. So I decided to give him my old Chevrolet Chevelle for his 16th birthday. He was pretty amazed by it, and so were his friends. It's a car that, to this day, still makes an impact. It did on my son as well, one that would cost me my relationship with him. I texted him a picture of my stepson with the car at his 16th birthday party, not knowing what would happen next. My son texted me back with, "Is this a joke?" I didn't understand at the time and texted him back with, "No, why?" He called me not a few seconds later, yelling at me to tell him that it was a joke. He told me that I had promised him the car when he was 10 years old, that if he did well in school, I would give it to him. The part that made me yell back at him through the phone was when he called me a lousy father that didn't care about his real son. Let me tell you, things were said from both sides that weren't nice from that point onwards. My wife told me to calm down and talk it out because there was some misunderstanding. I then did the most regrettable thing I've ever done, and if I could take it back, I would. I told my son, in a fit of rage, that he didn't deserve the car and that he could call me back if he changed his attitude. After I hung up the phone, I got into a fight with my wife, who stood up for my son. At that moment, I didn't care. I was insulted for being called a bad father. I tried to contact my son a few days afterward, but I didn't get any response. I think he changed his phone number a day after the fight. I couldn't have cared less at the time. 3 weeks later, my ex-wife called, furious as hell. My son had apparently graduated from university, and I was, in hindsight, not invited by my son. My ex-wife already found it strange that I wasn't there. My son told her then and there what had happened and that he wanted to invite me on the day he came to visit for his graduation. The worst thing is, he was graduating as an automotive service technician and was apparently one of the best in his class. I then realized that I was, indeed, a bad father. In those 4 years of not seeing him and all the stress around me, I didn't even bother to ask what he was studying. My ex-wife told me that he was heartbroken and felt like he was unwanted, unlike my stepson. She started crying on the phone, saying he just wanted to be a mechanic just like me. He apparently wanted to move back and work with me in my shop and take over when I was going to retire. My entire world crumbled in front of me. I felt, and still feel, so incredibly stupid for saying those things to him. My ex-wife wouldn't give me his new number or address, saying he wanted no contact with me ever again. She also told me never to reach out to her again. It's been more than a year now. I've had a few fights about it with my wife. My stepson gave the car back and settled for something else if it meant that my son would come back. I've tried getting into contact with him for the last 11 months. Until a few months ago, the last thing I found out was that he was probably working for some big car manufacturer, but they didn't want to give out any information about the people working there. Yesterday, I got a package from him, unexpectedly. It didn't come with a letter or return address, but I knew it was from him. It was a box with his old Chevrolet toy car, an old picture ripped up of him and me on the hood of the car, and a videotape. I watched the videotape. He was probably 7 years old at the time. In the video, I was fixing a car. I cried halfway through it, because I then knew why he mailed me the tape. I said to him while he was filming, if he wanted and kept up his grades, the shop could be his one day, including my Chevy. Edit. Some of you didn't clearly read everything, and that's okay. I would be mad too while reading this. My stepson is not to blame here. He gave back the car, and the car is now stored in a garage box. This car has become a thorn in my side, and I can't look at it, to be honest. Edit 2. My family and I tried to search for him on Facebook and all the other popular social media apps. Seeing how he was never into any of those, we couldn't find anything. Edit 3. I've been searching for him for quite some time already. If this virus clears out, I can travel to some states to see if he actually lives or works there. Edit 4. After contacting my ex-wife a few times over the course of months, she told me half a year ago that she would ask him once to contact me. But she couldn't force him if he didn't want to. Edit 5. Some of you have reached out to me. I'm grateful for the help from some of you in trying to help me track him down. But as you can understand, I can't give out personal information about myself, my family, or my son. There is already too much at stake. Edit 6. Deleting this account. I know a lot of you are angry. Believe me, I know the feeling. I hate myself as well. I came here to share a story of how I messed up badly, hoping some people might learn from it. But the nasty messages and death threats I'm receiving in my inbox from other car enthusiasts and upset people are really not worth it. From one worthless father to any father or future one, please learn from my mistake. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. It's like that Cats in the Cradle song. First, the dad never has time for the son, and then the son never has any time for the dad. The screw-up wasn't giving away the car to the wrong person, though giving such a nice old car to a 16-year-old is its own kind of screw-up. It was in not seeing more of your son over the years. He graduated school, and you never even asked what his major was? How low was he on your priorities list? The car isn't the problem, the car is the straw that broke the camel's back.